And welcome to Coach's Comments, presented by Southside Auto Tech. Cristiano Simonetta with you right now, joined alongside by Stars head coach and GM Cody Chupp. Cody, your team drops their second in a row. This time it's 5-2 against the Omaha Lancers. It's the third game in 3 days for your club. Did you start to see some tiredness from your group, especially after the tying goal, unusually, from Christian Sarlo, as Omaha was able to score before that second period ended, and then they really took it to you guys in the third?
Yeah, maybe not as much with our legs and our energy level, but our brains. And usually that's the first thing to go. And when guys start to get tired, they revert back to what they know or what's ingrained in them for the longest. And sometimes those are some poor habits. And, you know, I liked our effort tonight for the most part. I thought we outchanced them and outplayed them really for 2 periods. Goals 3, 4, and 5 were a result of us, and we self-inflicted. And when we started to leak oil, we weren't leaking oil. The wheels were shooting off the car. It was some really poor decisions, and it was just us not being simple or not willing to be simple. And that was the conversation. When we were down and we came back and tied it 2-2, it was, we don't need to change what we're doing. And even when we were down, we don't need to change. We're producing chances. We have to work more bodies to the net front, and we have to hit the net. So then all of a sudden we tie it up and we get a little bit of life, and, it's a self-inflicted play again. And then all of a sudden, we start going east-west in our transition. We're shooting pucks 3-4 feet over the net. We're starting their transition for them. We're making poor, complicated decisions with the puck. And to me, that's where we looked tired, was those mental decisions that we made. And it's frustrating because we've said all along that we like this group, and it's frustrating to know and feel the potential, but to have our own decision-making be the reason that we're coughing up games or giving up games.
You mentioned goals 3, 4, and 5. Arguably the second goal, the shorthanded goal, also an example of poor execution in your own zone. What about Omaha has made them so ferocious in their forechecking that when they apply that pressure to you guys, you falter instead of maybe, like you alluded to, making that simple pass out of your own zone and starting the transition that way?
Yeah, really pressure, when we have full possession behind our net, pressure should be a good thing. If they want to bring bodies up the ice, we should be able to bypass and get going in transition. But that, the shorthanded goal that we gave up was just, we stare middle, then we force it middle, and everybody in the arena knew where that puck was going to go, and we didn't change our mind. We just tried to jam it in there instead of just, putting it to our hip, making the simple play and saying, this isn't available, I'm going to take the next option. And, that's where the frustration lies, is it's completely preventable. I think it is a product of being a little bit tired, but that's not going to be an excuse for us. We have to have those habits and those details of our game, especially in this type of situation, because this is a situation that we could potentially see in playoffs. We have to be prepared to just play a simple brand of hockey. And I'm not saying Omaha's brand of hockey. I'm saying our simple brand of hockey. Take what the game gives us and just make the simple play that rewards us with offensive zone time. When we get into the offensive zone, if you're outside the dots, shoot for the team. You're not trying to pick a corner every single time and score. When you're outside the dots and below the top of the circles, you have to put it into an area where you can reward some other people. And the other people have to work to that area. So it seems really simple, but clearly it's an area for improvement for us.
One positive out of this game was the performance of Matt Barbolini. He had some extra ice time with you guys, down to 11 forwards, and his shorthanded goal, it's an end-to-end rush. Not many players in this league can perform like that, especially in tight against a goaltender like Kyle McClellan. How good has he been for you guys in moments where you either need a spark, whether it was the last time you were here in Omaha, you got the first goal, the overtime against Sioux Falls, or, again, just galvanizing your group with the effort to score the shorthanded goal tonight, and then the next shift you send him out again, and he draws the penalty that leads to Sarlo's game-tying goal on the power play.
Yeah, he was fantastic tonight, and the reason players come to our league and spend time in our league is to learn and work on consistency, and that was, last year for Barb's, it was, what version were we going to get, and that was, essentially what the college guys were waiting for, is they wanted to see him become more consistent, just like everybody else, but that's where he's really taken a huge step for us, and that was our conversation before the game is it's really easy in this scenario to have an excuse, and if you're looking internally, it's, I don't feel 100%. Well, nobody feels 100%, but I don't feel, I'm tired or whatever it is. But if you're committed to doing things for the guys around you, that's where you find the energy and the motivation for that extra spark. And Barb's was huge for us tonight. Not just the goal that he scored and the penalty that he drew, but he was fantastic with a lot of ice time. And when he decides to be a game changer, it's completely within him. And he's been great for us all year long. We're obviously extremely proud of him and what he's not only accomplished, but as far as he's come over the last couple or year and a half. I can't say enough about the work that he's put in to become the player that he is, and he will continue to improve his consistency, because if we get that from him every single night, he's just going to pull guys with him. And, it's nice to get Brock back into the lineup tonight. He's a difference maker for us with his energy and his ability to take pucks away and play in all situations. And we need more guys following their lead. And what I like about their game is when it's effective, it's because it's simple, and it's simple through two zones, and then they get to use their skill and their IQ in the offensive zone.
One last question for you, Cody. The next time you guys are in action, Friday and Saturday night against the Tri-City Storm, a team you have not matched up with since New Year's Eve, how have they changed since your last meeting, and what do you expect from the Storm, and how do you prepare for them throughout the week?
Since we've seen them last, they've started to play really, really well, and I know they had a tough series this weekend against Omaha, but I expect them to be difficult like everybody else. Our division right now is as tight can be, and every game matters, and we're getting a little taste of playoff hockey in February and March, and that's okay, and it's good for us, and it forces us. It exposes weaknesses, I think, is the best way to put it. And tonight we saw where we were weak and where we have to improve, and that's going to be our focus going forward. Is it's about we over me, and it has to be that way, and that's just the way it is. And if it's not for you, then this isn't for you. And that's the way it is in our locker room. That's the way it's going to continue to be. And we're going to continue to grow those details as we move forward, and we get a great test to try it out next weekend.